NFL Saints SEC Insider Mike Detillier on the Miller Lite guest line. You're listening Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. The SEC Insider hit this morning is brought to you by Chris Corley, Angel Oak Home Loans. Chris Corley. Give him a call when you're refinancing your home. Chris Corley, Angel Oak Home Loans. The show is also brought to you by Livingston Cellars Wine and Spirits. Tommy Landrum out in Livingston. Tommy T, Livingston Cellars Wine and Spirits. We're live in the Bank Plus studio, WRKS ESPN 105.9 The Zone. I was reading this yesterday about Dalvin Cook, so I want to ask our man Mike Detillier about Alvin Kamara. We've had NFL insiders on for years, including Mike, and several of them have talked about how running back is the least valuable position in the NFL now, the way the game has changed and so on. Not that they're not still important, so on. And Dalvin Cook wants to get paid, and many of these guys now that run the numbers say, he's not worth it. Mike, do you think that Sean Payton, when it comes time to pay Alvin Kamara, do you think that they'll load it up and pay him a big chunk of money, or Sean will look at that and say, I can go get another guy for a lot less money?
I think they're going to come up with a deal. Myself, I wrote an article a couple of weeks back, and I talked to a current general manager in the AFC, and he told me, I'm going to tell you something that I probably will never repeat again. That number that Christian McCaffrey got at running back is not going to be eclipsed anytime soon. He said normally you hold the top spot for about 2 weeks, and then another position player gets the spot. He said McCaffrey is not going to get overtopped in this. If it's Kamara, Cook, anyone else, they're not going to do it. So that's first thing. Second thing is the way the Saints use Kamara, and just listening to Sean Payton talk about him, you get the feeling that they're going to want to do a deal with him. Now, it's not going to be the $16 million. But what's interesting was he brought up the $12.5 to $13 million range. That's where he thinks that a deal for Kamara would probably get put in. And I sort of believe the exact same thing. But I think the way the Saints have used Alvin and his importance to this offense, not only as a runner but as a receiver. Who do you trust other than Michael Thomas on this team to catch the football?
Alvin.
It's Alvin Kamara. So Sean's not – he knows what he has in Alvin. And I think that the Saints are going to be willing to pay him. Now, he is not going to eclipse McCaffrey. Will not do it. And thinking about what that GM said – Bo, that would be like, a left tackle signs. And, again, what he brings up is correct. 2 weeks later, the next left tackle gets a dollar more than him or whatever. That's the way the NFL. But I do think McCaffrey has the high mark here. That you're not going to see that eclipsed by anyone anytime soon. And I think the Saints will do a deal with Kamara that will end up averaging in that $12.5 to $13 million range. I think if I look at it for Alvin's standpoint, man, the market's telling me I might think I'm every bit as good as McCaffrey, but I'm not going to get that kind of money. $12.5 to $13 million, it's a lot of cash. And I think that'll be the range for both him and Dalvin Cook, somewhere in that money range of 12.5 to 13.
Interesting.
And I think the Saints do a deal.
Okay. And that'll be after this season, right?
You know what? I've always thought, this has been a crazy offseason. And really unbelievable times we live in. But I've always felt that they would do it before training camp started. I was just a gut feeling. Reason why, reading Mickey Loomis more than anyone, in the past, when Mickey has made a comment about negotiations, I always think that there's something wrong because Mickey doesn't say anything during these negotiations, and you have not heard a leak from anywhere, any outlet saying, well, the Saints and Kamara have had a difficult time coming up with an agreement. Haven't heard one stitch of it. That tells me they well along the way to making a deal. When it's quiet, I think that's when normally they make a deal. And you have not heard one thing. No one's, looking for Schefter or any of the other guys that normally, they got in. They haven't said one thing. The reason why is I think you're well along the way. This is a little bit different. And it's very similar to what happened a year ago with Michael Thomas. And you didn't hear anything until the deal got done. And that's the way Loomis likes to operate.
That's a good point. So, man, Kamara, you could argue he's right there at the top of the list as far as what he brings to the table, both running the football and catching it.
Absolutely, and I think that's the big thing, that when you look at how you're going to pay running backs in the future, when I'm talking about tomorrow, whatever, it's going to be the back that's also utilized so heavily as a receiver coming out of the backfield. And that's what Sean has done with Alvin as both a runner and a receiver, and his ability to catch the ball and giving you that outlet to make something happen out in the flat. I think that's where, again, Christian's a great back, but how dangerous is he as a receiver? Because you can sort of bottle him up and do some things as a runner, and who are you going to match up against him as a receiver? That's the part of it. And the same thing with Alvin. So I do believe that, and I'm kind of lumping both Dalvin Cook and Kamara in the same vein here, that those guys are going to get paid in that 12.5, 13. Now, again, what you heard from Cook already, have you heard Kamara say anything?
No.
Not one word. Have you heard the Saints? No leaks. So that is something that if you track the recent signees and non-signees with the Saints, that's the one. That's how Mickey Loomis operates. He operates in that bubble of, I'm not saying that. Now, when you start to hear certain things, then you know one thing: negotiations aren't going well. But I do think that ability to catch the ball coming out of the backfield makes him so valuable to this offense.
No doubt. Mike Detillier, Saints Insider on the Miller Lite guest line. And because of the salary cap continuing to go up, Mike, you don't think that Drew Brees' contract will have any impact on whether Mickey and Sean put this deal together for Alvin Kamara, right?
Well, they've kicked the Brees can down the road so far, and it comes to a point where you can't kick it anymore. And so the toughest part for the Saints is the fact of what you've got looming in the future. Demario Davis, Ryan Ramczyk, Marshawn Lattimore. Man, you got a lot of big deals because, I think when you look at it, Ramczyk's probably going to end up being, when they re-sign him, the highest paid tackle in the NFL when his deal's going to come through. Lattimore is going to be in the upper tier as far as corners. DeMario's getting up in age, but, he's going to have a pretty nice payday, too, into that. So for the Saints, it's money management and how well they can do it. And they have kicked that Drew Brees can down the road, and eventually, you're going to have to pay off, that $20 million or whatever down the road. But still, I don't think that – right now they're, $9 million under the cap? You sort of have a feeling that they're that much under the cap for a reason, that they're trying to do a deal with Kamara. And however it's structured, because, I mean, today it's not so much what the money looks like, it's how it's structured and what it takes off the cap. So, yes, I do think that they'll get a deal done. I felt this a month ago, still feel it today, that they'll have a deal done before training camp starts with Alvin.
Okay. The Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're streaming live on, well, you can watch the show on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Just search Out of Bounds Sports. Mike Detillier, at Mike Detillier on Twitter. Mike, ESPN.com put together this fun draft, and they basically just hit reset on all the NFL contracts and released every player to the open market. They were just having some fun, and their NFL Nation reporters drafted whoever they wanted, starting with the Cincinnati Bengals and so on, and went all the way through. Mahomes was number 1, Russell Wilson 2, Lamar Jackson 3, and Deshaun Watson 4, and Dak Prescott was the 9th pick out of all the players drafted, and Drew Brees was 8. Are you comfortable with Dak going at number 9 if someone did that?
I thought he'd be a teens pick, but, if it's 9 or 12 or 13, it's going to be in that range for Dak. To be honest with you, I think that today, quarterback position is, so valuable. Either you got one or you're looking for one. There is no gray area. Either you have one or you're looking for one. And so, for me, it would have probably been in the teens, 12, 13, 14, somewhere in that range. But I could see, again, individual preference that he goes 9. Mm-hmm. Now, if they're looking for today or tomorrow, the surprise would have been Drew at 8.
Right.
Because of his age. I would have thought he would have slid, past. He'd have been a double digits guy. He would have been 10, 11, 12 too. But again, not knowing, I didn't see it, so not knowing exactly kind of the rules of it. Is this for play in 2020? You get it. And again, Dak, it's not that. I think that you look at it, is he an elite quarterback in this league? And the answer is no. Dak's not an elite guy. But, boy, he's very good. He is very good. And so to me, I think he'd have been in that range. I don't have an issue with that, somebody picking him 9th.
Where, you get the sense that a lot of people go with Carson Wentz over Dak. You and I have talked about this. If you're not available on Sunday, you have no value to the team that day. And the NFL is all about availability. Carson's a hell of a player, as is Dak, which you just, referenced. But Dak hasn't missed a game, and Carson's missed like over 15 games. Don't you have to take that into consideration, Mike?
You got to. It's that, that old saying that, you can't make the team in the tub. But, it's nothing against Wentz, because I think he's super talented. I think he's a really good football player. But, he's missed a ton of time with injuries. And that's always concerning for me, because I sort of think that sort of tracks the same way when you see it that much. That, and I can't explain why that one guy gets hurt quite a bit and other guys don't.
Yeah.
That is that a little bit of luck or whatever, however you want to cut it. Wentz is a very talented football player. No question about it. And I saw one of the national guys put him like 2 or 3 on the list of quarterbacks. My thing is, come on, you got to blink your eyes a little bit. He has not finished out a season the last couple of 3. He's been hurt. How can you put him in the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL today when you miss that much time because of injuries? Now, talent, if you want to just look at it that way, I get it. but talent also has to play. He has to have that availability. And he has shown that, man, for whatever reasons, he's missed a ton of time today in the National Football League. Bottom line is, those top two guys, the three is where it's really going to, because you can see Mahomes and Russell Wilson.
Right.
After that, then, the debate, Lamar, because of, certainly his skill set. And I think he's going to get even better as a passer in the NFL. But, man, he scares the bejesus out of you.
Yeah.
Because of some of the other things he can do out on the field to create plays. And I give the Ravens great credit that they are surrounding him with people at positions to be playmakers that's best for him. They're not trying to force it there. In essence, okay, you be our type quarterback. No, they're putting the people around Lamar to make him a better player. And, you saw basically Andy Reid. I know he has said this numerous times about finding the right pieces of the puzzle to put around Mahomes. Okay, he's got one of the elite tight ends in the game, and, man, Tyreek Hill, he don't scare you. I don't know who does. Because of his speed, I think he's the fastest player in the NFL today with a helmet and pads on. And so you just put the ball out there. Now, that's all they need. They bring in Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a running back. Another piece of the puzzle for them that fits what they do. So, but I get you. I'm in agreement with you on Wentz. The availability part for any player, to me, that's a negative if you can't answer the bell. And it's all legit injuries, but, it is what it is.
Right. Where are you with Lamar? I mean, you just touched on it for a second, but
I would
a
put
lot
him
of
at
people.
3.
Okay.
I would put him at 3 only I'm just telling you, because he scares you. He, well, friend Rick Venturi, he coached for, almost 30 years now. Now he does, and I'm going to have to give you his number. He's a great guest.
Yes.
Yeah, he covers the Indianapolis Colts. And you talk about a guy who's got experience as a coach, but also great insights on the game today because he does color for the Indianapolis Colts network. And Rick used to have a saying, he still does, about, the guys that are really great in this league, they keep you up at night if you playing against them. You can tell the good ones from the great ones because the great guys, they always keep you up at night. And I'll never forget when Marshall Faulk was rolling in the NFL. And I'd call Rick, just about how everything was going. And he was like, I was up all night. It's like, why? He said, I said, greatest show on turf. He said, yeah, to an extent, Marshall Faulk stopping him. So, the other guys, he said, we got a shot, with Holt and Isaac Bruce and Kurt Warner. Marshall, it's a difficult task every time you go up against him. He keeps you up at night. Lamar's the same way. Keeps you up at night. Okay, you think you've got him sort of corralled, and then, he breaks out. He makes a play that no one else could probably make. And that's the great feature with him. And, two, he's a winner. They believe in him as a player. And I think that speaks volumes of you when your teammates really believe in you. And that, man, no matter what, you're going to come up with something. Look what has happened to that Louisville program since he left.
Yeah.
Look what's happened. Look the heights he brought him to and what's happened since. And that tells you all you need to know about how difficult it is to replace someone that talented. And I give Harbaugh and Ozzie and everybody else who was in – Ozzie isn't there anymore, not daily, but of what they were able to do to kind of piece things around such a talented young man, but they saw the leadership skills, his toughness, his ability to learn. He's got the it factor. It's hard to explain, but he's got it as a player. And now all of a sudden, okay, we're going to draft Marquise Brown, okay, from Oklahoma, and we're going to bring in Mark Ingram, from the Saints. And look what they did on draft day this year. To add other pieces to the puzzle with another running back, Devin Duvernay from Texas. All I know is Devin Duvernay was the 5A state 100, 200-meter champion in Texas. You got a lot of fast dudes in Texas. I mean, I hate to break that news to anybody, but, man, Devin Duvernay, I think in that offense, perfect fit. How they utilize the tight ends with Andrews from Oklahoma. They do a fantastic job. I think he's right there at the top. And the scary part is when you talk to people in the NFL, Bo, is that he still has upside as a player.
Wow.
In his ability to throw the football more accurately from the pocket.
Sure.
That's the scary part. That he is still, sort of developing those skills at a higher rate. That's what, man, I'm just telling you, it sort of keeps you up at night. And that's a Rick Venturi line, but it's accurate. If you've got to defend him, he keeps you up at night. People, wait till he plays Belichick and the Patriots. What happened then? The Bill's the best in the game.
Right.
He didn't come up with one to stop him. So, again, it's you're seeing something in the NFL today with the young quarterbacks. If it's Mahomes, certainly, and he's special, and he's going to break every – you talk about money record. He's going to break everything on that part. But Lamar also, and that, we have talked about for a long time Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger. Okay, that group of guys. And Aaron Rodgers you can throw in there too. Now you've got the next generation of player. And Mahomes and Lamar lead the charge. And Russell's still a young guy.
Oh, he's super and has plenty of time. Great. Yeah, Mike, thanks. We appreciate it. At Mike Detillier on Twitter, Saints NFL Insider. Mike D joined us on the Miller Lite guest line, WWL Radio TV New Orleans. Mike, thanks, buddy. We'll talk next week.
Thank you, Bo. Appreciate it.
That was fun. From Kamara to NFL QBs. I mean, how exciting is it right now to be a football fan? Mahomes, Wilson, Lamar, Deshaun, Dak. I mean, that's just some unbelievable young QBs. Look, on this ESPN.com article, Mike Clay said, I'm surprised Prescott fell to 9th. How about that, Brooksy? Live in the Bank Plus studio. Out of bounds, ESPN.